I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG. I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast form, iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I'm Matt, the hipster hunter. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Going to be talking Lomachenko, Campbell, review, breaking down that fight, all the fights this weekend, including PBC on Fox, Lara versus Alvarez, which was not the greatest event, so to speak. Jeff Horn losing in dramatic, huge upset fashion. Going to be talking about that one again. Not really a good weekend for Australian boxing over there. Gervonta Davis moving up and vacating his belt. Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor being announced with Derek Chisora and Joseph Parker as the co-main event. A lot of news and information to break down in the boxing world, but I'm joined for the first time in forever. The full panel is here, guys. We formed up like Voltron. And first up, Mr. Robbie Hearn, second cousin twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. A little more over it than I was last night, but we'll talk about it.
You okay? I mean,
yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I mean, I was good last night, but
you really weren't. I
mean, maybe not. But no, when talking about Australian boxing, Derek Chisora today with the ultimate troll, saying he's gonna send Parker back to Aussie. He's gonna whip his dingo ass and shit like that. And the amount of reply tweets of he's from New Zealand. But if anyone knows anything, if you call a New Zealander an Aussie, you know, it's not. It's like calling an American a Canadian or some shit, I guess. But yeah. Fu, how you doing, man?
It's a compliment?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, calling an American a Canadian would be like really nice, actually, in today's age. It may be
calling a Canadian an American.
That's better. Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
I'm good. How are you guys? Just enjoying a Sunday off with my boy. Just jumped on the trampoline, did some fun stuff.
No, not you, Rob.
Ready to talk some boxing.
You're not the boy.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant his boys.
Anyways,
I'm with the boys.
Yeah.
Anyway, which reminds me, go check out our The Boys review on Trending Now Network, because that was a great TV show. Digressing from all of the Boys double entendres, triple entendres, let's talk about Lomachenko Campbell, because that was obviously the marquee event of the weekend. Let's go to Fu first, because me and Rob did the live fight chat, so I think most people listening right now heard me and Rob on the live fight chat, heard our opinions about that card, the fight. So Fu, as the resident Lomachenko stan, as the resident top rank stan in a sense, even though not really, just more of a Loma stan. Thoughts on the performance from Lomachenko, thoughts on the scorecards, thoughts overall on the main event?
Well, in the moment, and I still think the scorecards were a little wide, but not like I rewatched it, like we talked about pre-show, and I gave Campbell like 3 rounds. Realistically, when you watch, because like Rob is semi-correct on his Twitter saying like that Loma was trying to steal the last 30, 40 seconds of rounds, you know, but I think Mitty broke it down pretty well that every time Campbell had a moment, Loma is very good at understanding when someone has a moment and coming right back to try to outshine them and steal that round back. You know, like no matter what Campbell did, it's like you give him the first round, of course, he had the one significant punch toward the end, you know, I think it was a good left hand or something at the end of the round. And then 2 other rounds you could definitely give him throughout. I think I gave him the 3rd round and the 7th round or something, 7th or 8th round. I have to look at my card, but I had it 9-3 at the end. And I think Loma did everything he was supposed to do. He looked very dominant against a bigger, taller, very skilled boxer. Like Campbell fought a great fight. He had moments where maybe he wasn't as efficient as he could have been. I think that as soon as Loma started like up in the pace, Campbell had a hard time fighting off of his back foot and keeping Loma off of him. And then Loma was able to get to the angles that he likes to attack from. And that really put Campbell in some weird spots. I think Campbell will learn a lot from that fight, though, and I don't think anyone should count Campbell out of like belt contention for anything else because he's obviously very skilled. He went 12.
And how old is Campbell? Again, Rob?
They're the same age.
Yeah.
What was it?
31.
29.
All right. How old's Loma?
I think Campbell's 29, isn't he?
I thought Loma was like in his 30s. Wasn't Loma like 31, 32?
Yeah, I think Campbell's 29.
Let me look it up.
But anyways, I agree on pretty much all of what you're saying there, Fu. I will add, in large part, the head movement of Lomachenko led to a lot of inefficiency for Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell couldn't get his age. What's the age?
Yeah, he's 31.
Oh, he is 31.
He'll be 32 next month.
Campbell?
Yep.
All right. I think Loma's overall defensive ability, his head movement, his ability to block and parry shots even slightly led to just mass inefficiency from Luke Campbell. You know, Luke Campbell definitely never stopped trying, was pumping the jab out consistently, and in large part kind of controlled that aspect of the fight, the jab. I mean, Loma really didn't contend with the jab that much towards, at least not until maybe the back half of the fight. But Loma was more concerned of slipping the jab and then unloading with counters consistently. And when he could, follow up with a swarming combination to steal a round, right? That was sort of the game plan from Lomachenko. Pressure and make him inefficient, make him miss a lot of shots, make him tire out, and then unload with the combination to steal a round. I think Loma is probably better in every single category, as I've stated. I think probably my scorecard and yours are quite similar. I gave Campbell 2 rounds and I had a 10-10 round. But I can see maybe another round or 2 for Campbell. But Lomachenko clearly won. And I would say, even though this fight was ultra competitive, Lomachenko clearly was the better boxer. Clearly was getting the better of Campbell. And I'll also say having the more effective and damaging shots throughout the fight. But Rob, you thought the fight was obviously quite close on live viewing. Your thoughts, 24 hours after the fight on the main event?
I still think it was a close fight. I don't think
close in terms of scoring, I should say.
Close as in very competitive fight. Because like Midi said, and I'm aware of it. I wasn't blinkered to the fact, but you can lose every round, but it be a competitive fight.
Absolutely, yeah.
You just be shaded out of every round.
Yeah. When I say close, I mean scoring close, not in terms of just competitive close.
Yeah, I'm still a bit upset by the cards. I think you might have to look a little bit harder for it, but I think there's 4 rounds there for Campbell and some close swing rounds that Loma just got the nod on. And I don't know, some of the scorecards I felt were very harsh on the performance that Campbell gave. But don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here to make a case. I wasn't upset that Campbell got robbed or anything like that. Campbell did not win that fight. That's plain to see. I think we can definitely say Campbell got hurt, but his conditioning was on point. He was in the best possible shape for this fight because he bounced back from getting hurt, the body shots. But it just started
getting knocked down. Don't forget that too.
Oh yeah.
Because it was the 5th round when he got hurt significantly to the body, but he didn't go down because I think there's only around 20, 30 seconds when that happened.
He just managed to ride it out.
And then in the 11th round was when Campbell got hurt a lot and then got dropped with the jab, mainly due to probably accumulation to all those shots as well.
Yeah, it was just one too many.
Yeah, not saying he wasn't hurt, but just it wasn't just the jab that dropped him.
And look, I believe he went to hospital after the fight. He was sort of complaining of like kidney or like liver pain. So
a lot of body shots.
Yeah, there was. I mean, Luke had his own success. I've seen some people today say they think possibly the key to maybe beating Loma is body shots, but you've got to maybe be consistent. And I guess doing that, you're putting yourself in line for catching one back. That's the only But
and on top of that, it's also quite hard to hit his body. The way Loma's guard is, his elbows are constantly there to block and parry a shot. And Rob, we were constantly doing the live fight chat. During the live fight chat, you were questioning whether shots were landing or not.
Yeah, there were a few. It's like, did that land? And then, I don't know. I think that was more elbows.
And on both sides, I mean, both guys are quite good at parrying and slightly deflecting a shot. Where a shot might partially land, but most of the force is pushed away in a sense from an elbow, from an arm, something.
But for me, like, valiant effort, great. I think on any other night against any other fighter, Luke Campbell walks away with a title. He just happened to be facing one of the best fighters on the planet today. And that's it. And he just came up short. But for me, the main thing that's bothered me is all week, I don't know, Sky TV have just rolled the red carpet out for this guy. They've fluffed him up so much. And I don't know, when you've got your own fighter in the corner, you're just, I don't know. It's like the attention wasn't really on Luke Campbell. And I think he deserves to be more of a part of this promotion than just the entire Lomachenko show. I guess we're British and we've done the whole, nice, you come over and we'll be super nice. But look, Anthony Yard went to Russia. They lost his luggage and some other things and made it super uncomfortable for the guy. But Loma came here and was treated like an absolute superstar.
Well, to be fair, Loma was the unified world champion, pound for pound guy coming there. Anthony Yard was an undefeated prospect upstart. So, I mean, like, the perception on both those athletes are vastly different.
I know, but my point is, you're the away fighter going into supposedly enemy territory, and he just got treated better than he is fighting in his home, over in America. He was
but we've talked about this before. Like, when Triple G went over and fought Kell Brook, he received a huge reception. Why? Because he's a huge fighter. Like, he's a massive name in the sport.
I don't like that. Fuck him. You're coming into our backyard.
Do you think that is a disadvantage to Campbell, like mentally? Is that what you mean?
So wait, hold on. Do you think that it would have been a better mental advantage for Campbell to not fight in the UK?
No. I mean, I think what I'm saying is for Robbie, I think he's saying if they had bigged him up on Sky more during the week.
I understand that point, but I mean, the point is still no matter what would have happened, Loma would have received a massive reception because it's Lomachenko.
No, I get your point.
And regardless of that, Campbell was still better suited to fight in the UK than he would be in the US, I would say.
I didn't even say that.
No, I know you're not saying
Matt's
that.
I'm
just saying that.
In any environment, Matt's saying basically Loma would have had
or
psychological edge.
Or
like in LA when they barely sold a ticket.
Like imagine, let's say in some parallel universe, we have a Manny Pacquiao going to the UK and fighting Josh Kelly, right? Josh Kelly is not going to be the story of the fight week in the UK. It's going to be Manny Pacquiao coming to the UK, right?
I know, I get it. I don't like that.
I understand you don't like that. I'm just saying that's just the way it is. And also, Lomachenko would still be, not Lomachenko, Campbell or any fighter in that scenario that is the sort of B-side UK name that isn't getting sold in his own market, he is still better suited in that scenario than going to the champion's hometown or market.
Yeah,
I would say, right? It's still better off. Yes, it's not great that in your opinion the UK rolls over to these big names in a sense, right? But it's still better off. Campbell's still better off fighting here than he would be in LA or New York.
I just don't want these guys coming over, just being treated so great. I'm just saying other fighters go to it. It's supposed to be a disadvantage, but maybe that's just because it's Lomachenko and everyone here wanted to see Lomachenko, so they kind of pandered to that. He got a great reception, so I'm not knocking the fans for being like that. I just feel
no. I know you're talking about you're talking about Sky in particular, and no, I know that.
The whole media was like Luke basically said to Luke Campbell, "This guy's coming here. He's the greatest. You haven't got a chance."
Lunatic in the chat, who I know you respect, saying there's been a whole quote "Don't fight in the UK" narrative recently. Sky had to show it's a good place to fight. Thoughts on that, Rob?
Well, the narrative wasn't there when, like you said, Triple G came over and got similar. Mm-hmm. So the whole Dillian White thing wasn't there then. But there's always been you don't get a fair card in the UK.
I think that. Yeah, I don't think that's recent. I don't think that's a recent narrative.
No, but it lingers, right?
I think it may have been. It has definitely been heightened recently because of the UCAD situation with Dylan White. But you said, Rob, that's an old talking point of UK judges.
We see bum cards all over the world.
No, of course, but that's not a recent narrative. That's an old narrative.
No.
And I think in large part to the Triple G, Brooke, and the other fights we talked about. That's been why, long term, why I think Sky and certain networks have sort of done that for the big names coming to the UK is because they want to sort of dispel that narrative in some fashion. Now, that has nothing to do with the judges' scorecards. We're just talking about the media promotion of an event. I think that's on the mind of producers and executives over there. Absolutely.
Possibly. But anyway, back to the fight. No denying Lomachenko was better in every department. Some by margins and some by very big margins. But like I say, Luke Campbell on another night against another champion, he would have, I believe, come away as a champion. He's just unfortunate to be in the same era as one of the true greats. So hats off to Luke Campbell, hats off to Lomachenko. He's promised the UK he definitely wants to come back and fight over here.
Joe Cordina in 3 years. Mark it.
Yeah, when Cordina gets a little bit more pop, I would like to think. But
he hurt his hand.
He did.
I heard they hurt his hand in the 4th round or something.
Yeah, but I've said this before.
Bad juju.
But yeah, shout out to Lomachenko. He was on point.
Obviously, Lomachenko is now going to fight the winner over Chacoma Teofimo Lopez. Does this fight change any of you guys' opinion about that matchup?
He's going to fight before that, right?
He wants to fight before that.
He wants to.
He wants another fight by the end of the year, I think.
I don't think he will. I think he wants to. I don't think he will. Just being honest. And if he does, it'll be a tune-up. It won't be one that's a big name.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Does he drop down?
Fight a Nui at 126.
Stop, please.
On that, Bob Arum says he can do 126 easy. He can do 130 easy. And obviously he's...
We're going to talk about Bob Arum later on the show, and he may just be smoking way too much weed out there in the UK right now. God knows. Because the UK has trash weed. I don't know where he's getting it from. But he's rich. Probably just shipped it in.
I think that
back to Richard Comey
that people
Lopez
should really take away from this is that Campbell is a heavy contender. Like you said, he ran up against now Lomachenko and then Linares when Linares was on a gigantic win streak and just was a better version of Linares than I would say even Loma got to fight, right? So I think in any of the other fights that you could see him at 135, he's going to be extremely competitive with any of these other guys. I mean, even maybe like a Devin Haney, and I know that's sacrilegious to some of the people, but
Luke
Campbell's very good.
Luke Campbell, if Devin Haney and Luke Campbell fight next, Luke Campbell's winning.
Yeah,
I don't think that's controversial to say at all. At least it shouldn't be, to be quite honest.
I think it's a good fight.
It would be a good fight. Good. Absolutely great fight.
Yeah. But obviously, Haney and Abduliev, they'll be fighting. What is it? A couple of weeks to be mandatory to Lomachenko. So
135 with Tank coming in as well. That's a division. That's a fucking pretty heavy division there.
Hey, we'll wait to talk about that in a second. But again, no one's changing their opinions about Lomachenko versus Comey Lopez winner.
No,
Comey will be interesting for me.
No, because Comey is not the boxer that.
Foo, get out of here. You're biased. I want to listen to Rob's opinion right now.
Here, go ahead.
Because Rob might have a better opinion than you.
If we've seen anything lately, I think Lomachenko has proved he's maybe not right up in there in the top defensive fighters. He's still very good. I'm not saying he's not very good defensive, but he gets hit, and Richard Comey can fucking crack. So
yeah, but Comey is not the puncher that Campbell is. He's
what?
not as no, but powerful, yes, but he's not as accurate a puncher.
Oh, well, okay. When you say that's not what that means when you say he's not the type of puncher that person is.
Sorry.
That's not a boxer. You mean not a boxer?
He's not as skillful as Campbell.
Well, of course. No, everyone agrees with you that Campbell's a better boxer. He's a gold medalist, for God's sake.
Deontay Wilder isn't particularly a great boxer. So.
And he's also not fighting terribly talented people.
Comey,
he's knocking people clean out.
Okay,
that are not that talented.
All right, fair enough.
Well, I mean, Luis Ortiz was extremely talented.
Was old as fuck.
So.
And
Manny Pacquiao's old as fuck.
Fucking washing for
Manny Pacquiao's old as fuck. Bernard Hopkins was old as fuck in his prime.
Manny Pacquiao's back on the juice.
So everyone's on steroids, Foo. Come on, man.
Everybody's on steroids.
Everyone.
The whole UFC.
Everyone in boxing too. What was I gonna say? Comey in his last fight showed us his giant weakness was going backwards. Right, his entire game falls apart in that aspect, right? I think it was you that put out a tweet like this. Maybe it was a tweet about how like Loma's like one of the most sophisticated, aggressive boxers right now. Was that you?
I've said that to you guys before. I don't know if it was in a tweet, but that's the thing that impresses me the most. Like defensively, how he uses the subtle head movements to press.
Let me get my question out there. Do you think Loma can actually press Comey and keep Comey on the back foot and put him in his sort of weak spot?
No doubt. Comey, he'll have no idea how to deal with the angles and the speed of Lomachenko. I think he stops Comey.
What round?
Probably the 6th or 7th round. He's not. Comey is not Luke Campbell. He's going to get hit a lot more because he's not as good at putting himself in the right position.
Curious. We're all just talking about Comey. Is that because we're all thinking that Comey beats Teofimo?
I don't know that he beats Lopez. I mean, probably, but Lopez always has that puncher chance. We'll see what happens.
Okay. I'm just curious what people think because no one mentioned Lopez really. We jumped to Comey in this matchup.
No,
automatically.
The winner of that fight, and I said for me, Comey would be interesting. That's how we got on Comey. But
okay.
And Lopez,
I think he beat Lopez anyway. But
Lopez really doesn't have much of a chance against Loma at this point either.
Yeah, I think stylistically, Comey would have a much better chance than Lopez, right?
Dimensions are better. He's taller. Longer reach on that.
I don't know.
All right, and Campbell, what's next for him? What do we want for him? Do we want to tune up, or do we want to send him right back in with the Wolves in the top 10?
I think he deserves just to get back into it.
Would a quick tune-up later on this year, maybe like a December card or something like that, maybe on the Joshua card, right? And then let's say the winner of the Haney-Abdullah card in the first quarter of 2020, would that make sense? And do you think Matchroom would do that?
I doubt. Say Haney wins his mandatory position. I don't think he's going to risk
that.
Against a Luke Campbell. I mean, he might want to. He wants all the smoke, but
so you think Devin Haney post Abdullah goes straight into Loma?
Well, it depends what gets ordered, I guess. But I don't think
that he would want to.
Would he want to?
Yeah.
Well, of course. If
do you think anything Matchroom would be okay with that?
Yeah, for sure. I think.
Okay.
I mean, Eddie said when he signed him, he said, "Look, he wants to fight these guys now. He's only 21 or whatever. Ideally not, but I've got his dad and Devin Haney telling me he wants these big fights, and I think he'll want the shot before he moves up because I think Haney, like Teofimo, they're in a similar position as 135 isn't that easy for them anymore. So he might as well have a shot at a champion, and if it doesn't pan out. If he's lost to Lomachenko, he's just another one on the list that tried to pit his skills against one of the best and just fell short or whatever, or however that fight turns out, and then he moves up anyway.
Yep, I agree.
So Because I think we've seen now that Lomachenko, this is his ceiling, right?
Oh
yeah. Bob's already said that this is where they're stopping. He said what? He wants him to try to reign at 3 different weights. He wants to be a belt holder at 3 different weights.
Though I'll be honest, I know they would never do this, but like a Jose Ramirez Lomachenko fight, I would totally be down for. Like if Loma wanted to like really try to be great and go to 140 for a 4th weight class and fight Jose Ramirez, who's honestly just had his best performance in his entire career. I know he probably wouldn't be the favorite at this point because Ramirez looked that good and he's that big. But, I mean, that would be a fun fight. That's a big fight, at least. I think that would do good numbers for ESPN. That would do 2 million plus.
It might do, but I don't see... I can't see it. I can't see that fight ever happening. But I think he's too big. Way too big.
And think about this. He beats Ramirez and then calls out his best friend, his BFFF, Mikey Garcia, in the crowd right there. Come on. The story's written right there, Rob. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think that ship itself,
there is fiction, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think Loma thinks there's a Mikey fight ever happening, right?
I don't want to stop. You guys are so depressing. Foo, you're so depressing today, man.
Well, wait for Eddie Hearn to sign Lomachenko and Mikey, and then we'll get it cracking.
Moving on, Charlie Edwards and Julio Cesar Martinez Aguilar.
Hashtag justice.
Went to a no contest after the fight was originally scored a KO win for Martinez after he brutalized Charlie Edwards' body and just like went insane berserker mode. Like it was eerily reminiscent of like Cancio versus Machado, where it was like, why is this like journeyman / club level guy doing this right now? He shouldn't be doing this right now. Like stop. That's too good right now. And he did it probably even better than Cancio did because I was legit terrified watching those combinations. Now, before we get to the fight itself and maybe obviously the rematch that should be happening next, let's talk about the controversy of the ruling, the ending of the fight, because that is the story of that fight. I'll make my points pretty quick and pretty clear. I think in a microcosm, tabling all the context, yes, the right decision was made. There was a illegal blow at the end of the fight. He could not continue post the illegal blow. Whether or not he really couldn't because the illegal blow is beside the point. The blow landed, and he couldn't continue after it. So, de facto, based off the rules, it should be a no contest. The refs sucked, and throughout actually most of this night, the refs and the judges were not on point, I would say. But beside that point, my biggest gripe with this case isn't the ruling in particular, like the fact that it's a no contest. Like it should be a no contest, clearly. However, it's the process in which we got to that decision. The fact that it was a WBC and specifically speaking, only a Mauricio Suleiman decision. And that happened instantaneously upon watching the Jumbotron. I am of the mindset that private corporations should not have final jurisdiction on fights and fight events. We have government commissions for that. British Boxing Board of Control, UCAD in the UK, obviously. Respective state athletic commissions in the US. We have apparatuses that are the regulators of the industry. Sanctioning bodies are the corporations of the titles. So I have a big issue with them making the final call on fight decisions over the commission. I have a massive issue with that precedent. And on top of that, the fact that Mauricio Suleiman made that decision without any input from his board of governors, nobody, no vote, no hearing, there was no due process. There was a guy that saw a Jumbotron, heard all the boos in the crowd, had Eddie Hearn in his ear, and said, "Oh, fuck, I don't want to get people pissed off here. No contest. Edwards, sorry, man. We love you. Slim Shady, I'm sorry, man." I think it's just a really bad precedent. And again, the commission should have final say and final jurisdiction on fights, not the sanction body. And that should be clear as day, guys.
Slim Shady Edwards is the worst Edwards. He's got to stop doing his hair like that.
He really does. It does not look good. He looks like a knockoff Jared Leto from like that one movie.
He might not like how you look, to be fair. I don't know. But that shot was unbelievable. And fuck Tim Bradley, by the way. I hope he's listening. I doubt he is. Questioning Edwards' heart because he rolled after that shot. He like rolled once and then was, I don't know, like kicking his feet to the ground, holding his rib cage. Like, you know, if you're in a fight, you're half, you know, possibly prepared for a body shot. He'd just been cracked to the ribs numerous times, and eventually, although I was saying it after the first couple, but he took a knee.
Yeah.
And then, bam, the dude tried to fucking do I don't know, appendix removal with a fucking Cletus Reyes glove or whatever. And just that ended. There was no chance. Look, don't get me wrong. Edward gets up. He gets stopped. There's no question. But that single shot made it, you know, that the fight was over. But as far as the decision, look, like you said, Matt, it's the right decision and a ballsy move by Mauricio because he just took a bout off of a Mexican. That is, yeah. So, but I mean, shout out. I think the right thing has been done, as in result wise. Maybe even, I mean, the referee should have been all over that, and that should have been a straight disqualification.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about disqualification.
Well, anyway, that whether that's contentious, whatever, but that should have been the referee's discretion, not, you know. And the winner is Rodriguez. Eddie Hearn post fight. This is bullshit. This, that, and the other. Next thing, Charlie Edwards is pumping the air, like, oh, I'm still the champ. What's going on? Mauricio with a mic. Oh yeah, this is now a no contest. Blah blah blah. After Eddie Hearn says the British Boxing Board of Control don't do, you know, the replay thing. Some commissions do, some don't. Blah blah blah. But in this case, we don't do it here. And like you say, the whole crowd's booing. Mauricio looks at the big screens. And yeah, we get a change. It's very strange, very, I don't know, not seen it before myself. But I guess morally or justice-wise, the right thing's done. But does Charlie Edwards do this rematch? I'm not so sure. He done the whole, I'm fucked at the weight. And then it all changed when he realized he was still champion. So I don't know. But yeah, that was a bizarre few minutes.
Edwards is definitely ducking that rematch.
Well, and so like I agree, it's the right decision to make. I even said that. Funny enough, I was at work, and that's the first thing that I turned on, and I was like, "Oh, good, I'm catching some of the Charlie Edwards fight." And it's right when he gets put down, like he takes the knee. I was like, "Oh man, he's getting fucking just washed right now." And then the guy hits him super late. It's not like some late hits are like mid combination, you know, it's like, oh, he couldn't stop the punch. Yeah. That shit was not mid combination. It's like he had already done everything. The knee was taken. That dude just winds up and just takes a free shot at him, you know?
Yeah, he went like full clenbuterol rage.
Yeah. By all like letters of the law, that's a disqualification, you know, because it's a foul. The other guy can't continue. Like,
deliberate foul.
You know,
how do you define that as deliberate?
I mean, there was too much time, and it was not like mid combination punching or anything like that. It was literally like so late. I mean, late enough that without instant replay, I was like, damn, that was a late shot he caught him with. So I thought, well, maybe his knee hadn't gone all the way down to the mat.
Well, the ref wasn't there.
The replay.
I mean, the ref wasn't there. I mean, you don't stop till the ref pulls you off, right? Like that's Martinez's reason, and that's a good reason.
It's so tough, right? It's so tough for a couple of
reasons. It's not like you got knocked down at the headshot and he went down on his back. No, he's into the body, and it looked like Edwards was going down. He kept throwing shots.
He was going.
Well, no,
down.
because
He was
Edwards was completely down to a knee. That's the only thing. Like when Edwards,
We see that, but you don't have the angle that Martinez is in.
Sure, but that was
you don't have
super
that.
late. It's the ref's fault. It's the ref's fault entirely, right?
Anyway,
but it still doesn't matter that, by the law. Now, I'm glad they just called it a no contest, or by the letters of the rules, whatever,
Yeah, it's not like you go to jail for this.
Yeah, but here's the issue for me is like, how fucking stupid is Martinez that he took that stupid shot instead of just letting Edwards get back up and end the fight? The fight was over. Edwards could not have continued.
Well, of course, it was late. It was stupid.
I mean,
of course,
deliberate.
I don't know if it was deliberate,
or he just couldn't stop himself from wanting to continue like punching.
Yeah, that shit happens, man. I've definitely taken late shots in sparring. I've given late shots in sparring. Like that shit happens, 100%.
Yeah,
on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. When a guy's taking a knee, I have definitely taken a knee and still eaten shots before, 100%.
Good job you kept hold of your world title.
But these guys are professionals, and they should know a little bit better than to. I mean, and that was a brutal body shot at the end too. I was like,
the best shot of the lot.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Again, really awful precedent being set in this case.
So that's the part that I was going to agree with Matt on. Is I don't like the idea that Suleiman just kind of without anyone else is okay or without talking to anyone. I don't think that should happen.
I mean, no. The sanctioning body, period, should not be the adjudicator of fight decisions. Period. Point blank, they should not be it.
It's their bout. They want it to be decided fairly, then that's up to them.
Well, no, I get that point. That point is fine, and they should have a review process.
Dude, seeing Rob dance and tap dance for the WBC right now is sickening. Right now, it is gross.
Yeah, look, it works.
The level of hypocrisy, bias people will go to is insane. But
Martinez just realized who his boss is. That's all.
Oh yeah, sure. Charlie Edwards probably going to duck that rematch, though. Moving on. That wasn't the co-main, though. Huey Fury versus Alexander Povetkin was the co-main. Povetkin won the fight via unanimous decision. I mean, it was an all-right heavyweight fight, I guess. It was an above-average Huey Fury fight.
That was Mexican Huey Fury.
I thought we were going to get the Huey Fury that was going for a knockout, was going to be super aggressive.
I'll put it this way. I have no comment on this fight. None.
Look, there was times Fury met him in the middle of the ring and tried to trade off. Every time he threw a huge one, it just happened to miss. But that was a slightly ever so more exciting Huey Fury than we've seen in the past. But look, he's 24. Every time he's really stepped up to the top guys, he's come up short, So will he be world level? I mean, look, if you can say anything about Huey Fury, he's got a chin made of pure grace. He's got a triple G chin in there. Yeah. He took some fucking shots off Povetkin, but I didn't think Povetkin was gonna. Those legs were going to last, but he showed that they did, Maybe Povetkin's, being Povetkin. Who knows? But
everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
Yeah. So but not. Even the referee was like, "I'm sick of the holding and the stuff." But when they did trade off, it was all right. It was a fun fight when they were actually fighting, but. Thought the cards were wide. I didn't think Povetkin won it by those wide cards, but I don't think Paulie Malignaggi had Fury winning 115, 113, just so you know. The great analyst, remember? Paulie calls a great fight.
Yeah.
And then turning a little bit matchroom corporate, maybe.
Fu, any thoughts?
Not really. It was just a pretty mediocre heavyweight fight to me. I mean, it wasn't bad, but
wasn't good.
I don't know why it was the co-main. I would have felt like Edwards and
I can understand why it's the biggest names.
Yeah.
Povetkin and Fury are bigger names than Charlie Edwards and Joe Cordina and Joshua Buatsi at this point in time. It's just the case. And it's probably honestly the highest level fight other than Charlie Edwards. But Charlie Edwards isn't a fucking flyweight, for God's sake. I mean, that's probably why.
True.
Yeah, but off the back of this, Povetkin and World of Boxing have tweeted out they're ready for Tyson Fury now. And then Joe Joyce has also said, bring me Povetkin.
All right. Moving on, Joshua Buatsi defeating Ryan Ford in controversial fashion via a Andre Ward nut shot and a temple shot. Or not temple shot, sorry, a behind the head shot. Unfortunately, this was not a WBC title fight that had instant replay.
Oh,
so the ruling stood. And to be honest, it was one of those, like, in very different fashion from the Edwards one. Like, this outcome was almost like inevitable. Like, Buatsi was just getting the better of it. And kind of a surprisingly ugly fight for Buatsi. I wouldn't say it was a bad fight, but Buatsi really couldn't get his offensive game going the way I think he wanted it to. The shots that were landing weren't having the effect that I think he wanted them to have. But it was a good learning experience because Ryan Ford's a guy that's been there with guys, that's been a barometer of tests at this level. So this was the perfect fight for Buatsi at this point. Perfect fight.
Yeah, he just needed those rounds. That was exactly. I think Paul is it Paul Reddy, the matchmaker at Matchroom. Sorry, he said you build a fighter, you don't break them. He was kind of saying this has been like with the Cordina fight. He needed those rounds as well. We'll get to that, but yeah, I thought it was good. I think Ford showed he's a tough guy. He's been, I think, the distance with Chudanov. He's been the distance with Yildirim and stuff like that. So he's been in there with sort of decent caliber fighters, and no one stopped him. So yeah, Buatsi, I've seen a lot of the American sort of journos. Sort of they were impressed with him. Yeah, he just what he needed. I felt.
Agreed. Fu, any thoughts?
I think I really like Buatsi's uppercut. He's got like a sneaky uppercut. He's a talented guy. I wish he wouldn't have had to go to like one. Did you get a better camera angle on the low blow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I couldn't like the kind of the shots I was watching. I didn't see the better camera angle. I should have looked for something.
It was low. It was.
Yeah. It looked low even from the back camera angle. The first replay they showed, it looked like because you can kind of tell where the shot hits from just where the shorts and the movement, but
it wasn't a dick shot, right?
What was that?
Nah, it was more like a hip or something, wasn't it?
No, that was a nut shot.
Was it a dick shot?
It was.
And I think overall he's very good. I was wondering what you guys think about. Do you think that Buatsi would beat Yard now seeing Yard fight Kovalev?
I don't know about that. My opinion of Yard has completely changed post Kovalev. So I don't know.
No, I think Buatsi still gets the better Yard personally, but
I don't know anymore. I might be on the minority here and say that Yard should be the favorite in that fight.
I don't know that you'd be the minority. Like, I really like Buatsi, but I just wonder how that Buatsi would look against a Yard. The Yard that fought Kovalev.
Mm-hmm.
I think Buatsi has got far and away better offense than Yard.
Maybe. But I think Yard showed that he had actually pretty underrated defense. Like, his footwork was on point against Kovalev. His head movement was on point. His ability to block and parry was on point. You know,
Yard doesn't take his feet with him. When he had Kovalev in trouble, it was just the odd shot. He didn't never get to sort of really follow up. He
doesn't throw in combination. Yeah, that's his issue. He doesn't throw in combination. Yeah. Buatsi throws in combination, and he has a great jab. So I can see why you think Buatsi would still win. But Yard showed me that he is world level against Kovalev. Maybe not championship level, but he is world level. Buatsi hasn't shown me that yet, but I think it's there. That's just the difference. You know, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I've seen it, and I still think it.
Okay. Joe Cordina defeated Gavin Gwynn via unanimous... Gwynn?
Yeah.
Gwynn via unanimous decision in a really ugly fight, to be honest. And I'm a huge Joe Cordina mark and stan or fanboy, whatever you want to say. I'm one of those that say that Cordina is the best UK prospect in the game. he just seemed almost lazy in there. Like in the clinch, he never tried to outwork Gavin. He never tried to out-throw him in the clinch. And Gavin was going to the clinch consistently. Anytime that Cordina was at range, throwing shots, countering, and was successful, Gavin wanted to close that distance and clinch up fast because he was landing really dirty shots, but he was landing in the clinch. And Cordina was doing nothing to stop that. He would just let himself get tied up. He would just eat shots, not even make a face, just have no face on, no motion, just eat shots, and kind of had a really ugly performance. Both guys got deducted points throughout the fight. So I'm curious as to what this is. You know, same with Barazzi. Like, both guys didn't have the greatest performance. Did they fight really good opposition at this level and we didn't realize it? Ryan Ford we kind of knew was a good opponent. But Gavin Gwynn, I don't think we did in the U.S. I think worldwide, I don't think we know of him. I'm just curious to see if this is a normal thing now at this level for these guys, or if this is just a aberration of their usual game, and we're not going to see this usually. I don't know. But Cordina, this wasn't a great performance. This was like a C+ performance, in my opinion.
I know he hurt his hand, but power for me has been sort of my only slight question mark over Cordina. I mean, he's still young, I guess it could come, but I think he's still very slick. But I enjoyed his performance. I think Gwynn gave him as well some tough rounds, gave him good rounds under his belt, and I think at times he not gets, I don't want to say sloppy, but I don't know. He just maybe does switch off a little bit at times, and because when he's on point, he is class. You know, he really is class, and he makes it look super easy. Gwynn was just on a just levels behind in slightly, you know, all departments. Kind of not. I know it's a different level, but Lomachenko Campbell, he just wasn't as good as Cordina at sort of everything, and he was just hanging in. Well, not hanging in, but he was
literally he was literally hanging on.
Well, yeah, but he just showed a bit of heart, and he was just a tough guy, you know. And but yeah, Cordina, I'm sure in the next one possibly get a stoppage, looking amazing, and on to the next one. But yeah, we'll see in the year to come, sort of where Cordina's at. But I like him. I think he's real good.
Fu, thoughts?
I think some of these guys suffer from boredom when they get in some of these fights where they don't, you know, like they can't get up for the fight. You know, it's not maybe the fight they want, or it's not the level of competition they want, or they don't feel like it's going to do enough for their name, and it's a matter of just going through the motions. And that hurts a lot of these guys when they get, like, it's a big stage. It's a Loma card. It's a Campbell card. You know, it's 3 gold medalists. I mean, I had people talking to me at work about kind of like this big fight between these 2 gold medalists, and I was pretty surprised that anyone knew, you know, and people were asking me where to watch it. And so I think I know it's got to be difficult to, you know, because just like for us, if maybe the topic isn't great that we're going to talk about that day, it's hard to get yourself going. It's similar, you know, or if you play music and you have no crowd and you just go out and go through the motions,
or just having a shitty day, you don't feel that great, something's wrong, you know, your wife or your girlfriend's bitching at you, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, but for Cordina, like being in the weight class that he's in, he can't have those moments. You know, we saw it like with an Anthony Fowler. You know, you have like an off night or a bad night. It's a huge setback when you take a loss. You know, and obviously he didn't take a loss, but you can't have uninspired performances like that.
It's very different to have a loss, like, for example, Yard and Kovalev, and compare that loss like Fowler and Fitzgerald. When you lose on the domestic level, especially nowadays when, you know, it's not like it was 5 years ago where, like, I had to go and find a illegal stream to find this card, right? it would be now I can watch it on a official stream on ESPN. I can watch all the fights on the entire card, mainly. If I think I missed a couple that they didn't televise, but I can watch basically everything, and the whole world does. Like you said, like it's a Loma fight. Like I know people outside of the box industry that were paying attention to this fight because it was Lomachenko fighting. Absolutely.
Yep.
And you can't have a dud on the domestic level. Even in the U.S., the same thing. Like some prospects have off nights or a bad performance or a loss against a club level guy in the U.S., that's going to really significantly hurt his momentum. Look at a guy like Tevin Farmer. Look how long it took for him to rebound after his losses at the club level. You know, it takes a while. Cordina, even though Cordina I thought won this fight clearly, it was close because not a lot happened and it was an ugly fight, and he was lucky.
Well, and Mitty said it before too in our chat, and I always, because Mitty fights, he boxes, way more than any of us do, So when he says, like a guy that should give you rounds, it's fine to go rounds with that guy, but if you're supposed to stop him, you need at some point you turn it on and you show your levels, right? And I just never felt like I saw that in this Cordina fight. And I would really like, obviously, I'm not going to judge him on one fight. I'm very big on Cordina. I think he's extremely talented. But it's almost like the team has to understand, like when one of these performances happen, they have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to get him honed in, even when the competition level's not there. It's almost like, when you see like a Tyson Fury go from, like a fucking safari fight to, Deontay Wilder, you can see that he is so supremely talented, but he has to have the right competition level. I feel like with Josh Kelly and Buatsi and Cordina and a lot of these really big, like UK names that and Yard even stepping up into Kovalev, there are so many more levels there to these guys, but they're going to have to be pushed outside of like their comfort zone into these big fights where they can get up for it and show all of their levels. And then I think we're going to see some good stuff from these guys.
Agreed. Remember, guys, call in.
This level, no.
Remember, guys, call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers call in on Skype, Mixed Combat Radio. Quick thoughts. Savannah Marshall also following this card. I think we can all agree, except for maybe Rob. Clarissa Shields mops the floor with her. James Tennyson picked up a really dramatic KO win, but it's James Tennyson, so it's not like he has like a long career ahead of him at the world level. We've already seen him there. That's about it for that card, guys. Any thoughts on maybe the Savannah Marshall fight in particular?
Yeah, I think you're being a little harsh. I think it'll be a good fight with Clarissa and Savannah Marshall. Personally, I think she hits pretty hard. So, all right. You asked for her opinion.
I did. Did I cut you off, Rob? No. I'm just making faces.
I can see your face.
And it's a beautiful face right now, and you love it.
He was doing that. He's better with hair on as well.
Don't Liam.
I don't know. I disagree about that.
Don't pull Liam on us, Rob.
Fu, any thoughts? Shields, Marshall? I know it's not next, but it could happen down the line.
It's Shields and Taylor. Shields and Taylor in women's boxing, and there's just everybody else is so
Shields and Defon Pursoon.
As far as
come on,
skill
respect.
Skill level. Yeah, Pursoon. Yeah, I mean she's a bully, but I think Taylor will dominate her next fight. But I mean, realistically, Savannah Marshall's not even close. Like Shields, if they fight anytime soon, it's not going to be a good fight for Marshall.
Leonard Sterling's talking to you, Matt.
Sure, Leonard. You can definitely call in and make that case. And Matthew, we'll get to that question when we talk about Gervonta moving up later on the show. Erislandy 4 versus Ramon Alvarez on Fox. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the card. I didn't watch this fight live. I watched Sebastian Fondora versus Gervonta Clark live because that was a great fight on paper, and I wanted to see that. But beside that, I didn't watch any of this card live. I saw the knockout on social media.
Same.
Lara looked good on those highlights I saw, and I think the fight ended in the second round, so not surprised by that at all.
Where's Gary? He said he cleans out 54.
Okay, Gary. But I think the more important fight on this card is obviously the Sebastian Fundora Javante Clark fight. Sebastian, they went to a draw, but Sebastian Fundora, who's like a 6'7", 6'6" junior middleweight, like a fucking giant, right?
Oh my god.
Definite issues with his footwork. No, I think his combinations was fine. It was his footwork that ruined him in this fight. He couldn't cut off the ring to save his life. You know, he was.
Everyone who is 6'7" has footwork problems.
that's and 6'7" and 150 pounds.
Yeah,
it's like high school Shaq.
Oh my god. And Javante Clark was also like 6'2" at the weight class, and he was also a giant, but looked dwarfed compared to Sebastian Fundora. He looked great. His defense on point. Even though it was a draw, I thought Javante Clark won. But I'm okay with the rematch. It was a fun fight. Money Powell, the fourth, lost in a not dramatic fashion, but surprising fashion, I should say. It's shocking because it was a decision. It was a close decision too. By that point,
one judge had it a draw, I think.
Yeah, against Von Alexander, and Von Alexander, sort of like a Ryan Ford, a great barometer for certain guys. I'm actually shocked that Money Powell lost that fight. And that's about it for the card. In terms of
the big tall dude, when he fights, does he look like a basketball player when they get introduced to the court? You know, when they run like half jog and they look like they're.
Does it look kind of awkward? Yeah. Does it look like a newborn baby deer at times? Absolutely.
Yeah. I've never understood that. Yeah. When they used to introduce basketball players out and they sort of fast walk and they look like they've got
But it's like that bunny hop at first too. Yeah.
Destroyed knees kind of run. But then you throw them a ball and they're like fucking flying through the air and doing the court
athletic freaks
for 3 seconds and shit. And watch them walk. Oh my god.
No, if you can't, I'll find the link on Daily Motion, something like that, or I'll send you the link, Rob. But it was a good fight. I enjoyed it. And plus, when you seeing guys that are 6'2" and 6'7" at 154 pounds, these are guys that are both bigger than Jarrett Hurd. Think about that.
Yeah, crazy.
That's fun to see.
Did you guys find it comical that the back of Alvarez's shorts said "Inocente"? It's like, look, don't beat me up too bad, Lara. I had nothing to do with you losing to my brother, and then he just got fucking manhandled.
Yeah, Speaking of getting fucking manhandled, Jeff Horn.
Wait. Isn't it funny that the shit brother
that was a great
of the Alvarez's isn't the ginger one?
He's the
successful brothers, the ginger one. That is funny. Jeff Horn loses via dramatic TKO fashion in the 9th round against Michael Safara. I can safely say that I don't think anyone expected this. Kell Brook just beat Michael Safara, and I would say pretty clear one-sided fashion. Even though he didn't look great in the fight, it was clearly Kell Brook winning it. I thought Jeff Horn, even though he moved up to 160 and for the Zafar-Brook fight, Zafar went down to 154 at the time. I thought still Jeff Horn should be able to win this one. Jeff Horn's not the greatest guy in the world, but he's still the guy that beat Manny Pacquiao.
Brook was 153 for that fight.
Okay. But Jeff Horn got mollywopped. Like straight up, he got smacked up with the combination, and you could instantly tell that he was done. And the ref kept putting him out there to get beat up, and he got beat up more and more in that 9th round. It was rough. He got knocked down twice in that round, but he got beat up for like a good 2 minutes, it seemed, in that entire round. Where was it? In Australia.
What weight?
160.
This was 160. Is he still number 5 in the?
Well, not anymore. Zafar might be in the top 10 now, though.
He is with the WBA. He's like 4th or something.
I am curious as to whether or not this means the Jeff Horn experiment, whatever you want to call it, is done. I am curious about that because this guy was a world level champion at some point, loses to Crawford in pretty one-sided fashion, and just disappears to Australia and fights Anthony Mundine and some other guys and just looks, oh my god, lunatic. Zafar is number 6 on BoxRec.
Yes, he is. Yeah, Jeff Horn's been. He's number 10.
Yo, Gray Johnson, we gotta talk about your love for Jeff Horn.
The algorithm is working its magic.
Oh my god. But I am curious as to whether or not this is like the final death nail in like the career of Jeff Horn at the world stage. It feels like it. Guys, thoughts? Jeff Horn.
Very quick. Sorry. Zafara versus David Lemieux at 160. If Lemieux can make 160.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Zafara Murata.
I'll take that. Yeah, fuck it. Murata needs a tune-up and wait for Triple G.
I think it's more likely you'll see him in with the Saunders at 160 or something.
Oh, God.
Down there.
Fuck, no.
So, that's official. The top 6. Zarafa, Andre Charlo, Jacobs, Golovkin, Alvarez.
Again, guys, thoughts on Jeff Horn?
Yeah, what a weird career. Fucking beats Manny Pacquiao. Well, beats Manny Pacquiao.
He did.
Yeah.
That's fine, guys. We can admit it.
Well, whatever. And then, it's been just fucking weird. But yeah, that Cal Brooks' stock has risen all of a sudden off that.
Yeah, I did, man.
Very horrible unanimous decision win over Zarafa. But what crazy. All I know of this fight is boxing Twitter spent about 4 hours trying to find a live stream for this fight, and there was locked down big time for this. People couldn't get one anywhere. And it was pissing people off a lot.
Yeah, but we found like a video like right after, so it was good. It was good.
I've never been big on Horn. I mean, I feel like he kind of got blessed by the fact that Pacquiao didn't take him serious. He just got away with like brutalizing Pacquiao, and then everyone was like talking about how great he was.
Blasphemy.
He's been, since the Pacquiao win, he's been like number 4 or something in every weight from 147 up. In the like you say, BoxRec Gray.
Yo, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't remember, but was Jeff Horn higher than Inoue in the pound for pound rankings for BoxRec? Because Inoue was at 35.
Let me check it out.
That is still one of the most like saddening things about the BoxRec rankings, that Inoue is at 35, not like 25 or 15, right? Like even 15 would be egregious, right? Like
Inoue's currently 33.
What?
When realistically, like anyone who knows boxing is putting Inoue like
top 5 easy.
Top 5?
Easy.
Like it's ridiculous.
Where's Jeff Horn?
Fucking ridiculous.
He might have completely vanished from the.
Jeff Horn's gone now.
He's not in the 50, I don't think, at the moment.
Good. That's good. That's a good sign, guys. That's a good sign. But anyways, let's move on. Just for the sake of time, remember, call in 323-870-4051. Gary, I see you in the chat. Call in. Let me know if Blog Talk's working, Gary, because
Michael Zarafa is number 58, pound for pound.
58?
58. Where's Jeff Horn?
So
that makes it.
He's made it. He's just topping the top 100 fighters in the world.
Eubank Jr. has never had a real fight in his entire fucking career.
No, he's had real fights. He just lost them all.
Yeah.
He's never had a championship in his entire career.
13 places above Inoue.
Yep, number 20.
Oh, BoxRec.
He's above Gary Russell Jr., above Gervonta.
Oh my God, this is so sad. Anyways,
it's that IBO clout, man. IBO.
Gary saying, is Blog Talk not working? I think it is working, Gary. That's why I said test it out for me, please. It make me feel.
We're waiting for you.
Make me feel happy if you do that. Ohio runs boxing. I see you, man. It's been a long time. Moving on, Prograis versus Taylor, Chisora versus Parker confirmed October 26th at the O2 World Boxing Super Series finale and Matchroom Boxing and Sky Sports pay-per-view.
Air horns.
Oh yeah, you're right. This is a great card. And plus, Lee Selby versus Ricky Burns on the card. I think that's a fantastic fight.
Get the air horns ready, Matt.
For what?
Lawrence and Coley.
Matt's such a hater on a Coley.
I know. You just got no scope for allowing someone to improve.
Gary, I said Blog Talk. There you go.
The UK Deontay Wilder gets no love.
Well, let's see if Gary is working over here. Gary, can you hear us? Gary, I can hear us.
Yeah.
Gary. Anyways, I think it's working.
That's Gary's best call.
That was Gary's best call. But back to Prograis Taylor, Chisora Parker, Lee Selby, Ricky Burns, the other guy that Rob mentioned.
Connor Ben's on the card.
Connor Ben, he's always in for a fun fight.
Courtney, maybe Terry Harper as well. So 2 women on the card.
Cool. Well, I mean, they can't put him on the December card, so they have to put him on the October card.
That's true.
We don't know that.
Got to schedule all your females before your or away from
around the Saudi Arabia card for sure. But digressing from that point, Prograis Taylor,
Matchroom all female card December 1st.
Come on. Come on.
Prograis Taylor is a fantastic fight. I'm just so happy we're getting it at this point in time. I'm happy that it seems that they've made Prograis happy in terms of the financial issues. And they also threatened him with a lawsuit. I don't think he wanted to deal with that too.
That helps.
I hope, yeah.
I think this fight is easily going to determine. No, actually, I keep wanting to say that it easily determines the best 140-pounder, but it doesn't after Ramirez Hooker. It just doesn't. But does clearly make up the next guy that should be fighting Ramirez to unify and become an undisputed champion in that division. And plus, Chisora Parker is a great crossroads fight at heavyweight. Same with Lee Selby and Ricky Burns at 140. Because that fight's at 140, right? Because isn't Selby going up?
I would say so, yeah.
I think Selby's going up a weight class. I just think the card top to bottom is fantastic. And on top of that, Prograis Taylor is one of the best fights you can make this year, period. So I'm all for it. I am enthusiastic for this card, to put it lightly. Rob.
Yeah, for sure. Just so you know, I don't know if it's, I guess it will be, but I've applied for press alerts. So they'll come to you, Matt.
All right.
For credential purposes. So I want to be there for this one. But yeah.
Oh, I mean, Matchroom is awesome. Thank you guys for the great content.
We love Saudi Arabia.
Yes, love. Yeah,
Viva.
Doing great things there.
Go Rahad.
Yeah.
Go all
Let's
the
get
stuff.
those press passes.
Clash of the Dunes, baby.
Clash of the Dunes.
But yeah, no, really good card. Really happy it's all finally settled, and all rumors of heavyweight fight undercards and Matchroom being involved. I mean, other than the main event, it looks like it's a Matchroom card, right? So I've seen as well that Josh Taylor is a Matchroom fighter once the World Boxing Super Series is done. So I guess makes sense anyway. But really, really happy that this is made, and hopefully I can be there.
Agreed on all parts. Fu, thoughts on the card? Prograis Taylor, Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker, Selby, Burns, all that fun stuff.
It's another good card. I mean, we're pretty lucky to be getting after a Loma Campbell high level fucking boxing match. Just now we've got Prograis Taylor. It's pretty fantastic, honestly, to see, because I kind of feel like this is a 50-50 fight. I know you're probably more in the Prograis camp, and Rob is definitely more in the Taylor camp. I like both of these guys. I don't know how this fight's going to go. You see in the face-off, Taylor's got a few inches in height, probably a little bit in reach, but man, this is going to be just a phenomenal fight.
It's just a shame it's a hardcore fight, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
It probably is. I like seeing some of Prograis' personality come out in the weigh-in. He wore a fucking kilt. Did you see that or whatever?
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
And then he had fucking Versace shoes on. Which
yeah, they were wild.
The good thing about the way this card is structured is that obviously the main event is a hardcore fight, so that will innately kind of hurt the pay-per-view buys, but the Chisora Parker fight will sort of bring in the casuals enough to make it a successful event, I think, for the UK market. Just for the sake of time, guys, any sort of final thoughts on Prograis Taylor in the card? And let's move on.
Just you bring up pay-per-view numbers. Eddie Hearn suggested that Loma and Campbell did a bit over 250,000 buys.
Yeah. Which is kind of on trend for this level of fight.
Yeah, lightweights and stuff like that. So,
and the UK name wasn't a big UK name as well. that kind of hurts it. I want to say the Kelbrook Triple G fight, both guys respectively bigger than Loma and Campbell, did what, like 600,000 buys?
I want to say 500. Yeah.
Yeah. But moving on, still on the topic of UK boxing in a way, Billy Joe Saunders is coming back, and he's coming back on a co-main event, so to speak, to perhaps the biggest main event in boxing this year, KSI Logan Paul, which is actually going to be a professional boxing fight, right? Like that, they're now going pro, right?
I mean, so an article said. I mean, yeah, that's potentially what that.
So in LA, guys, Staples Center, right? Because that's where this event's happening. KSI versus Logan Paul. The rematch will happen November 9th. Billy Joe Saunders will headline the undercard of the rematch. Thoughts, guys? Because I have some, not good ones, but I have some thoughts.
So scared of change, Matt. Don't worry about it. Get out your comfort zone. Look, if this, I'll be interested how this works, because I remember the first YouTubers fight.
You were there live. Yeah.
Done great business in that market. The YouTube kids community absolutely fucking went for it big time. The presser was very Mayweather McGregor, the whole insults back and forth, the kind of roaming around the stage and having their own say was nuts, done millions of views. The whole thing was huge. But if I remember, pretty much most of the boxing community absolutely shit on it. They, fighters, this is a joke, this is disrespectful, this, that, and the other. But I can't help but think this is going to be huge business, and I'll just be interested in how having a Billy Joe Saunders on that card, what that kind of does. But I think it would be great exposure. I remember at the time when I was at the first fight, went with Lewis, we went and watched it. I heard 2 or 3 kids asking parents, can I do boxing? Can I go to a gym and things like that? They wanted to give it a go. So I don't know, but does having a Billy Joe Saunders, I mean, I just want to see Billy Joe Saunders at the press conference with Logan Paul and KSI personally. I think that's going to be funny, but I believe this is going to obviously land on DAZN. Eddie spoke on it. He wants certain this to be at a certain level. He doesn't apparently, he kind of, I can't remember quite paraphrasing, he wants it to be certain conditions attached, that this isn't just a white collar boxing event. This is going to have like a world championship defense on it, or it's going to have, and it'll just be interesting to me how it sort of merges together with legit professional boxing and 2 guys that are maybe making their professional debuts, but on the headline event. But I think it's potentially huge business with for DAZN, and I don't know, we'll see. But these guys have got like a 60 million social media reach with YouTube channels and Instagram and Twitter. So the potential's there to get some interest, and I guess DAZN are looking at drawing in some kind of younger market. It's just, will they stick around? Who knows?
So Saunders' fight isn't going to be like a Jerry Lewis versus Rocky Marciano type fight?
No, it's supposed to be like him versus like a Sufi fight.
Okay, so similar. All right, I got you. Look, I'm not going to hate on the fact that this will be extremely popular. They're going to sell a ton of seats. It's going to do good on YouTube. They're going to make money off of it. I just have a question. If you bring Billy Joe Saunders to Matchroom, and kind of a lot of the flack Billy Joe Saunders get is like, it's that he's not serious enough, or he doesn't, show the right respect for certain things in the sport and all that. Why would you put him on this card? Like, if you're trying to rehab like the image per se, make him more of a hardcore darling or whatever,
Just more palatable.
right? You're going to throw him on a Logan Paul KSI card? It makes him look like a joke. I'm not trying to be dismissive of the whole prospect of the fight, but
and then
put some fucking people put prospects on there. Let them have some fights and have fun. But Saunders is too good to be doing kind of like circus acts. It's I don't know. And I feel weird about this.
And on top of that, 'cause I agree with everything you just said there, Phil. Like everything you just said, and I actually took most of my talking points away, asshole. I would say this: like the one benefit this could have, just put any pro fighter along with this card, right? Like have a professional fight, make a professional card, right? And you just have KSI and Logan Paul attached to it to add this huge young audience. I'm not opposed to that, right? I think that's actually quite smart to sort of, again, sort of gravitate this young audience to the sport. And it's a better way of doing it than the last attempt. It's far less circus show if they treat it like a professional event and it just happens to have KSI and Logan Paul attached to it to add the eyeballs, the exposure, right? But I will say this, Billy Joe Saunders to me isn't the guy that you would attach to this card. Like, he's not the guy that's for the kids. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm Eddie Hearn and I have my stable and I'm trying to attach fighters to this card, it's going to be a lot of young fighters with upside that can talk to kids. That's not Billy Joe Saunders, who's an abrasive personality, kind of an old head too in a way. I would say like he acts far older than his age, even though he is a dipshit.
I think this is just made for Billy Joe.
I don't think so at all. Actually, I think a guy like Anthony Sims Jr. should be attached to this. I think guys like
Nikita Ababi, he's got his own channel. I think he put one of his fights up, and he's hit 1 million views on one of his. So
those are all good names.
Yeah,
Devin Haney. Devin Haney should be on this card.
That's rumored.
A young name that has tons of upside. That is a 20-year-old kid. Like Billy Joe Saunders might be 29 years old, but he's a fat old guy. Let's be honest about it.
Ryan Garcia, that's a good call out by Will.
Ryan Garcia, somebody mentioned, but he's not Matchroom. He's Golden Boy, so I don't know if that could be attached. But Ryan Garcia is a perfect person to attach to this card. Or hell, even like lesser, less talkative guys, but still young guys, like a Josh Kelly or a Virgil Ortiz, like in the DAZN umbrella. Like, those are the guys that should be around this event to attract the young audience, to keep the young audience there, because the young audience is not going to be into Billy Joe Saunders. Speaking as a 24-year-old young guy that is from that generation in a sense, I'm telling you, like, that Billy Joe Saunders isn't the guy for them. He's not. Devin Haney is a perfect call-out. Ryan Garcia is a perfect call-out. Anthony Sims, Nikita Ababi. Like, those are guys that should be attached to this card, not Billy Joe Saunders.
Also, it goes against every one of the talking points when they signed Saunders on the Matchroom about he's had these things in his past that, he's made some dumb mistakes and he's, this and that. This is not this will be basically his come out fight for Matchroom, right?
In theory, yeah.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
Well, doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. We'll see. I think it's exposure. I think it's stuff like that. I think it's potentially that kind of thing. But like I said, I'm not 100% like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. This is the perfect move. This is that. I'm interested to see just how it plays out. But obviously, Billy Joe on stage could say no two YouTubers born from his mother's can beat me. I don't know. I think with Billy Joe's mouth and his wit, it could be, I don't know. But he might just say something crazy and ruin the whole thing. But I don't know. But I'm just interested by it. I think it's, and obviously Matt's going to get credentialed because Radio Raheem was the only one to do it the first time and he done a shit ton of views.
Yeah, probably will. Unless this conflicts with like a really major important card.
Well, it was, and then they moved that card because of this.
But again, like also like I do cover MMA as well, so like I don't know if there's a UFC event in town that time. I know there's a Vegas one that I might go to around the end of the year. I think it's in December, not November. I should be able to go. Yeah, shouldn't be an issue at all.
You get there. It's going to be a sellout. Go and see what a sold out stadium looks like.
I've been to sold out stadiums quite often.
Comps.
Near sellouts.
Near sellouts.
Oh my God, you guys are ridiculous. Rob's on one. It's okay, Rob. It's okay, man. Luke Campbell lost, man. It happens.
I'm all bands. Come on.
I know. I'm all bands too.
Shit bands.
R.I.P. Luke Campbell.
Shit bands.
That's when you should have played the soundbite, Rob. Come on. See, that's when you need to pull your soundboard back up.
I want to redo my board, and it's just annoying. When I have another window open, that one disappears behind, and I have to click it to bring it back, and then the time is off. And then I go, oh, wait, say that again, Matthew. And then the moment's gone.
Ran out of spots for Eddie Hearn quotes.
The moment's gone. Moving on, Mike Coppinger says, source tells The Athletic that Gervonta Davis has vacated his WBA junior lightweight title and now campaign at 135 pounds as he seeks to become a two-division champ. Tank now occupies the same weight class as Vasily Lomachenko and perhaps setting the stage for a pay-per-view showdown. I think I will also add to this, I think I saw that he was ranked already at 135 pounds in the WBA.
Number one, yeah.
Yeah, so guys, thoughts on Gervonta Davis moving up to 135? Is he chasing Loma, or is he just naturally, he just has to move up in weight class at this point?
Well, you think if he's naturally moving up, he'd be about 175. But no, yeah, I guess so. What is there for him at 130? Really? Who's he? Who could? I don't know.
Farmer.
There's fights. He just won't. He doesn't take them.
There's two good fights. There's two good fights. That's it.
Burchelt and Farmer.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have either one of those fights.
Farmer's not happening. Get over it. All right. Leonard won't let him out to play.
Makes no sense because he beats
Leonard.
Farmer any day of the week.
Well, Floyd. Let's be honest. Floyd.
All right, Leonard.
Because Leonard's the mouthpiece. We know. We know that.
Yeah, but
Floyd won't let him out. Floyd won't let him out to play. Period. Like not even with Farmer. Like they don't let him fight good opposition. Period. It seems.
I just wonder who this pay-per-view dance partner is that is making.
Well, Mike is talking about Loma, a Loma pay-per-view. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to be fighting Gamboa for the regular belt.
Well, of course, but that's not what Mike is talking about. He's not saying that Gervonta Davis and Gamboa is the pay-per-view showdown that they're setting the stage for. The Loma fight.
Is this an ESPN pay-per-view?
It would be a joint pay-per-view.
Yeah,
joint pay-per-views happening. I love it.
But that's what they would try to do. Obviously, you're acting like this is like we're making this up. Like that's what they would do, right, Rob?
You're talking about Fury being a joint pay-per-view. I mean,
Fury is a joint pay-per-view.
Be any different? So I mean, yeah. I mean, why would this wouldn't be any different? I just think
Rob, do you think that this would be only an ESPN pay-per-view or like only a Showtime pay-per-view? Like,
I don't know. Let's see it get made. I'm just going off like what we've seen.
Look, I've already said I don't think it happens, but I'm saying if the pay-per-view you're talking about is, and the one that Mike is talking about, Mike Coppinger is talking about is Loma Gervonta, and you asked what network, it's ESPN and Showtime, obviously.
I don't know why it's obviously, but it's all right.
Because Loma's an ESPN fighter and Gervonta Davis is a Showtime fighter.
What, signed, sealed, can't?
No, they fight on the ESPN. They fight on Showtime. You act like you don't know this, Rob.
No, I don't know that. He's not a network free agent, Tank?
I just said he's not signed, but he fights on Showtime. He's a Showtime fighter. He hasn't fought on Fox once in the Fox deal.
All right, I'm just saying he's a network free agent.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Rob. Weird.
I'm just wondering.
I don't know what I'm just saying.
I don't know what you're saying, Rob. I don't know what your point is. You're not making a point. You know that, right? You're just asking weird questions that you want to sort of get an answer from and then not make your actual point. Make a point.
Did Mike Coppinger say this is a joint pay-per-view?
No, but that's what it would be. And again, I asked you point blank and you didn't answer. Do you think it would be an ESPN or a Showtime pay-per-view only?
Well, I think ESPN more than Showtime.
So yes or no, do you think they would only make this a ESPN pay-per-view?
I don't know.
Like, this doesn't need to be an argument. You can just answer a question. It's easy.
I'm not having an argument. You're the one shouting over people. I'm just sat here. I didn't even say anything. I was making faces. Like you did
I know
earlier.
you were making faces, and I'm responding to those faces, Rob. Like you respond to my faces. Okay.
I want to see the Showtime ESPN Fury Wilder fight get.
Well, no, that's Fox. Remember?
Well,
that's
all
not
right.
Showtime.
I want to see a PBC ESPN merged pay-per-view before I'm ready to say there's going to be another one and another one and another.
So wait, do you think we're not saying there's going to be a ton of them? We're just saying that that's how it would be for a Loma Javante fight. That's how it would have to be made. Because like you have said and we have said, they're not letting him out to play for other networks. So it would have to be a joint pay-per-view.
Then it doesn't mean that the fight's even made.
No one said Javante Loma was made. No one did anyone say Fu?
Why are you shouting? Why are you shouting?
Because I don't know what you're getting at. Like Fu, did anyone say Loma Javante Davis was made?
Yes.
Who said?
No one
in
did.
the scenario, we are, aren't we?
In the scenario, if it were to be made, it would have to be a Showtime and ESPN joint pay-per-view.
I don't know that it has to be, Matt.
It has to be because the point you made, Rob, that Leonard Elby and Mayweather Promotion... No. That Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions will not let Javante Davis leave the block, their side of the street. You made that point, Rob.
Yeah, immediately I'm saying, does it even happen? I
said it probably doesn't happen, but I'm saying if it were to happen, it would have to be a joint pay-per-view because of the point you made, and I agree with.
I don't know, because I'm not convinced we're going to see that scenario play out with Fury Wilder or Spence.
You don't think Wilder Fury is going to happen at all now? You think that's a myth? Bob Arum, Tim Smith, Wilder Fury, everyone's out in the media saying it's happening. It's joint Fox, it's joint ESPN. Agreements are in place. That's just a myth.
No, I'm not saying it's a myth. I want to see it happen so I believe it with my own eyes. So you don't do you not believe it now?
It's happening, or you just want to see if it actually pans out to be a successful.
It pans out that it's a joint pay-per-view. That this is all as it's because it's all a bit.
It's not a new concept, Rob. We've had joint pay-per-views before.
How many?
We've had 2. No, 3. Sorry, 3. 3 in the pay-per-view era, because obviously the pay-per-view era started in the 90s.
I don't know. When did it start for you guys? I got no idea.
My big question is,
I don't know.
What does it matter if Tank moves
I
up
don't know,
135?
man. To everybody here. The fuck.
I think here the bigger questions are, if Tank's not taking any challenging fight at 130, why is he going to take any challenging fights at 135?
We've all said that he probably doesn't take a Loma fight. We've all been in agreement on that. Like that, that's never been the argument.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, who else does he fight? Would they even put Tank in with like a Campbell? Like, I don't know. I wonder, because he hasn't had a real fight since Pedraza. Like, there hasn't been a tough fight for Tank since Pedraza.
Expect, obviously, the Gamboa fight probably to be first, because they were teasing that at 130. I think 135 has been a move to help both those guys out with the weight cut. But is Richard Comey an ESPN fighter? Like, in theory, obviously Richard Comey has a couple fights lined up next. But he's a Lou DiBella guy, right? Like, he's a guy that isn't a ESPN top-ranked guy. He could be moving back to PBC. He obviously fought Robert Easter. Robert Easter's obviously in the division, so they can make a Easter-Javante Davis fight. Even though I think they are friends, they could make that fight. Francis Bartholomew is in the division. I'm trying to think of who else is in that PBC stable. That's about it, I want to say, from like top guys, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because Campbell, Haney, and who else? Cordina. That's all Matchroom DAZN. Loma, Tifima Lopez. That's ESPN. Richard Comey is a quasi ESPN fighter at this point. There's guys like I would be happy with a Javante Davis Robert Easter fight, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like I think that would probably be the toughest fight he's had in his career at this point, honestly.
I mean, outside of Pedraza, that's the only real live body he will have fought.
Yeah. So I mean, there's certain names that you could fight. There's not a lot of depth, but then again, there's not a lot of depth at 135. Honestly, there's a lot of young guys at 135, but there's not a lot of depth of established guys in the division. Like think about the top 10. The top 10 is filled with prospects that haven't proven themselves yet. A la Devin Haney, Tifon Lopez, Joe Cordina could honestly slip in the top 10 if you're being generous, just because the division doesn't have established names. Anything else, guys?
No, man. I hope he takes some real fights. Let's see if, the eye test is great, but the actual getting in the ring and having the fight and proving yourself is the better test.
Absolutely. I will say this. 135 has more in-house names for him than 130. So that's a good thing, hopefully, because it definitely seemed like they only were making in-house fights for Gervonta Davis. Abner Mars, Leo Santa Cruz, Gary Russell Jr. were all mentioned with Gervonta at some point, right? Those are all in-house names. I expect that to continue moving forward. But at least 135 has talented PBC names there. 130 had no one. And 130 was a worse division overall. Moving on. Let's talk about the Shakur Stevenson video. Oh, my God. This is IFL video that we're getting off of Twitter with Bob Arum and Tony Bellew, right? Rob, is that Tony Bellew? Yeah, that's Tony Bellew.
Yeah.
He's looking a little pudgy, man. He can go out for some sprints, man. Looking like a heavyweight right now.
He was a heavyweight and he's retired, so.
Okay, Rob. Mr. Sensitive.
If he's looking like
it really is. It really is.
He just said he's looking like a heavyweight. That's what he was.
Because he was a cruiserweight, really, let's be honest.
Okay.
His last fight wasn't a heavyweight.
No, well, yeah, I guess so.
Yes! Gunshots.
Do you think by the time the fight started, he was a cruiserweight?
Yes.
After weighing in, was he probably a cruiserweight?
Oh my God, that was so good. Anyways, moving on. I just love the pause. That was the best part. Was the shit? He's right. He fought Usyk. Damn it. That fight wasn't a heavyweight. But Shakur Stevenson was kind of put out on Front Street by Bob Arum here, and I don't know if I'm surprised. I'm not really. I am surprised maybe that Shakur is being this vocal right now on social media about it. But let's play the clip from Bob Arum about some information on Shakur Stevenson.
Shakur, he's another one of my fighters. He is a great young kid, right? But he's not ready to fight Loma. Yeah. Shakur last year begged me to ask Loma if he could go into training camp with him. Okay. And so Loma gave him a good first round, and then he taught him a lot.
Okay, well that's good to hear. Yeah. It's great that you're fighting a mix.
I like how Bailey tries to clean it up at the end. Like, oh, it's great how you fighters like to mix it up, right? Like, no, that wasn't that great. Bob Arum just said that his prize prospect just got messed up in the first round. And Shakur Stevenson says, I try not to speak on sparring, but come on, Bob. Don't do that, with a shush emoji. And then he adds, because somebody asked, is Arum lying, though? And Shakur says, lying like a motherfucker. Guys, thoughts on the Shakur Stevenson-Bob Arum beef, as we're going to call it. Fu, I'll go to you since you're the resident Top Rank fanboy. Is this some promotional malpractice by Bob Arum going out to the media and saying what he said?
I think you already have like the issue where Crawford feels like he doesn't get promoted good enough by Bob Arum because of Loma, right? And now you have him kind of throwing Shakur Stevenson under the bus for Loma.
A prospect that's not even in the same division as Loma.
It's not a good look. For real, like he could have said a lot of things like, look, Shakur's not there. Like, we brought Loma in for a camp with Shakur because, he looks up to Loma, obviously, as a pound-for-pound fighter. There's much better ways to say he's not ready for that fight without shitting on your own fighter.
You could have said it was a great learning experience for Shakur Stevenson. Exactly. we definitely saw that in a couple years, Shakur is going to be one of the guys. You know, like there's a way you can spin it where it's obvious that Loma like obviously got the like quote air quote won the sparring, like that matters for a training camp, but still promote his future star, right? Shakur is one of those guys that Top Rank is banking on for its future. And this is weird. Like, and just your connection to the Crawford criticism of Top Rank's promotion, I think, is obviously there. Bob Arum has had a long time criticism of how he's promoted African American fighters. I wonder if that's in Shakur's mind at all. I'm just curious. It has to be at some point.
I don't know, but just in the future, he should just fall back to there's no rush. There's no rush for Shakur. That's the easiest way to push all that stuff off. There's no rush for like a guy that's that young, the amount of fights he's had, even though like Loma has only had 15 fights, let's be real, he's had like 400 and something fights in his career, like amateur and pro. So he's not a young guy. Shakur's a young guy. Like, let him be a young guy. It's just not a smart move in a world where boxers are looking for other places to go all the time, and there's a lot of money out there for them.
Agreed. I think that's
right.
No, I think that's an accurate way to put it, especially like me and Rob have been theorizing for a couple weeks now that Loma could potentially be leaving the ESPN umbrella and the Top Rank umbrella. There's been flirtations of a Eddie Hearn move for Loma. If somehow Bob loses the prize guy at 135, the division that Shakur is probably going to move up to eventually. Yeah, I could see Shakur leaving. And on top of that, if Shakur just doesn't feel like he's getting the respect that he's owed, you guarantee the Zone, PBC, everyone's going to be offering him deals. It's Shakur Stevenson. He's a silver medalist in the Olympics. He's an undefeated prospect. Now going to be fighting for a vacant belt at 126. Probably going to win that fight as well. This was just a bad move by Arum. But Rob, your thoughts on the Shakur Stevenson-Bob Arum beef?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bob's Bob, right?
Bob's Bob.
I don't know that he's necessarily lying. I guess only, but obviously Shakur doesn't like the fact that Bob's either made it public or that it's a lie. So, yeah, interesting. But he's got his young lion, young bull coming out calling a lying motherfucker, lying like a motherfucker. Have some respect. That's an 87-year-old
stoner, 87-year-old stoner.
Your promoter that's trying to get you into it to get you that title shot. And if he was to leave, and goes to Eddie, do we ever see the opportunity for Brandon Figueroa to try and beat Shakur like a certain caller seems to think? Not that I want to trigger his calling to be another 30 minutes of Brandon Figueroa, let's be honest. But
Jay Willis in the chat. Shout out to you, Jay Willis, been a long time listener, saying Stevenson beats Warrington so easy. I agree. I just wanted to state that because I know it triggers Rob a little bit.
No, I mean, it'd be a good fight. I think it'd be a really good fight. But it's always hard when there's a real young guy going in against an older pro kind of thing. But it'd be a really good fight. I definitely want to see it. But suggestions that Josh Warrington ducked him are just ridiculous. But yeah,
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, no, interesting little slight back and forth on a tweet that I didn't think nothing of, and then I saw that Shakur. I was like, "What's this Shakur's replying to?" And I watched the video. Oh, and then he's lying like a motherfucker. I was like, "Uh-oh."
Well, then in another point of that interview, he talks about a big fight at 126. He says he's trying to make it for Michael Conlon. Like he didn't even talk about making that fight for Shakur Stevenson. And it's like, if you're gonna talk about your best prospect at 126, you're talking about Shakur Stevenson. Conlon's not even close. Like and I like Conlon, but let's be real, like he's not on the level.
And I think the big fight they're trying to set up was the Frampton fight, right? For Conlon.
I think that's what he was talking about. Yeah, it's probably like demographically, they maybe think that if they put both those guys, in a fight in Ireland or whatever, like
Northern Ireland,
Northern Ireland, it's a bigger fight, right? But at the same time, if you want to give your best guy to shine, you would put Stevenson in there and let him build his name on Frampton, you know?
Yeah, but he's getting a world title shot anyway, right? He's going to get a world title.
But it's against
get that deal done.
Yeah, I think with the title it would make it easier. But one thing I want to sort of ask, a quick question, then we're going to go to callers. Actually, we have one more topic to get to, and then we're going to go to callers. By the way, shout out to the last topic because Rob sort of set it up, set the gears in motion, so to speak, with this news. I thought it was funny. Yeah, you got it done, Rob. Way to go. Matchmaker Robbie Hearns over here. But who do you think is receiving the first phone call? You think Bob Arum is receiving a phone call from Shakur Stevenson's people, who, let's remind people, Shakur Stevenson is highly, highly connected into the entertainment industry. Or is Bob Arum in Top Rank calling Shakur Stevenson about his tweets? Who's getting the first call?
I don't think a surveillance camera in a garage is particularly really high in the entertainment industry, but who's getting the first call? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, maybe Shakur. Like, calm down, young man. Don't come at Bob like that. I don't know. Maybe Shakur. Like, Bob, what you doing, man? Hanging me out like that? Who knows?
I don't know, man. Shakur is connected. Fu, thoughts?
No charges.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure from Bob's end, he's probably making the call saying, like, look, you just need to play along. Like, I'm just building up these fights, you know? Marination. That's kind of, like, maybe he didn't feel like he was hanging Shakur out to dry, so he'll call and explain himself on what he meant or whatever, or...
I'll be honest. I think James Prince and Andre Ward called Bob Arum up.
It's
James Prince.
Talking about
James Prince is the same guy that when he heard drug dealers were selling drugs with his face on it, that he sent in every one of his people into New York City and got those drugs out of the city. This guy is so relentless when it comes to, oh, you're fucking me or my people over. No, we're going full out. Yeah, James Prince definitely gave a call to Bob Arum. Or maybe Todd. Because I always wonder whether or not Bob Arum is as active as he seems into the whole process of Top Rank sort of day-to-day operations. Is Todd DeBuff actually more of the runner of the company? But moving on, guys, last topic of the day, then we'll go to callers. It looks like Blog Talk isn't working, so Skype, Mixed Combat Radio. Oh, shit, hold on. I accidentally got rid of it. Sorry, Rob.
It's all right.
Ah, shit, where'd it go? I'll find it. Give me a second. There it is. As it pulls up. Joseph Diaz and Tevin Farmer are basically fighting, guys, and it's all thanks due to Robbie Hearns over here. Right, Rob? Rob, you want to sort of walk the people through like what happened?
Yeah, I think it started. Steve Kim said he spoke to who's Jojo Diaz trainer. I can't remember, but he said that they would be happy to drop out of the September card that he's scheduled to be on to face Tevin Farmer if the right offer or something like that. So I quote tweeted at Lou DiBella, at Eddie Hearn, or whatever, and Lou jumped straight on. If Matt's lost it, I'll try and find it.
No, I showed it. I showed it.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
What Lou said?
Yeah, they can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, at Joseph Diaz Jr., let's get this done. Then we're holding next up for you. Just tell your folks at Golden Boy to reach out. We can get the fight done this week. Sure you want it at Eddie Hearn. He has everyone.
Yeah, and then I think JoJo's replied, and I think...
Is that perfect? Let's get the fight done this week.
Yeah, and then Golden Boy, what's his name, the matchmaker, he also replied to back to Lou DiBella about something about doing it properly this time, no games like before, or I don't know, but let's see. So sounds like a November card. Could that fall? I don't know. What cards are we getting in November?
A lot, it seems like. I feel like November's a stacked month.
Maybe
it usually is, though.
KSI Logan Paul card. Tevin and JoJo. JoJo, because he's Golden Boy Matchroom obviously got they have technically Tank's a free agent.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
I think from kind of what I've picked up on that they be looking to re-sign or get another fight out of Tevin.
And by the way, the matchmaker's name is Roberto Diaz. That's who we're talking about.
Diaz, that's it. I couldn't think. Although, interestingly, Eddie, off the back of this, we've got 3 or 4 pound for pound stars that want to sign over now. He kind of said we need to look at the people that's contracts are run out. What are they bringing? What is Tevin Farmer that guy? Eddie then went on to say, I really like Tevin. He's done, he's been the most active world champion in our stable in boxing. I think he defended it 5 times in 8 or 9 months or something silly like that. But so yeah, I don't know if Tevin might be one of the guys that he kind of lets loose or can go and do things elsewhere, but or he re-signs him. But yeah, be interesting if I guess that's the next best thing because Cancio's tied up and
the Alvarez rematch.
Do you think? What was I going to say? Oh no, it doesn't matter. It was totally a different train of thought then.
I am curious to see what Tevin does going forward because, the big fight, the big money fight in the division is gone now. Javante left. He's at 135 now. So does he now go towards Burchell? Does that even appeal to Tevin Farmer in any way? Does Tevin try to drop to 126, go to 135? What does Tevin Farmer do going forward now that the money's left the division? Because it has.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, yeah, Tevin Farmer, Joseph Diaz seems like it's going to be happening. Next, guys, any last thoughts on any of the topics? Or are you guys ready to go to callers?
Just so people know, Tyrone Spong got a second round knockout, so could be set for that Usyk fight. But yeah, other than that.
Yes, callers. Let's go. Gary in Dallas. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Yep.
Okay. Matt, one thing of note, one housekeeping item. When you were naming all the top lightweights and how the division was filled with young prospects, you forgot one. Hector Tanajera. Just to put that out there. That your Texas bias and your Texas hate was showing again.
That's awesome, Gary. Have a great day. I'm just kidding. I'm going to unmute you in a second, Gary. Hold on. Let me just end this. There you go. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I want to get rid of Blog Talk because I was about to be all noisy. Gary, back to you. Sorry. I forgot about Hector Tanajera, who would lose to Ryan Garcia.
Right.
My bad.
Before you go back to Gary.
Yeah. Lose to Ryan. If you think he'd lose to Haney or TME, well, that's fine. He would not lose to Ryan Garcia.
He would. It's okay.
He would not. Rob, Fu, come on. Would Tanajera lose to Ryan Garcia?
Rob definitely doesn't know who Tanajera is.
I don't rate Ryan Garcia very highly, so
yeah.
I doubt it.
You don't even know. Wait, hold on. Fu, have you ever seen Hector Tanajera fight?
Yeah, what was his last fight that Gary was talking
about? On the Virgil
about?
Ortiz court.
Yeah.
Where you went to the decision and he was feather fisted?
He still would beat Ryan.
He goes to the decision with everyone.
Yeah, and that's an issue. He's not an athlete. He's not even that great of a boxer. I don't know what you guys see in Hector Tanajera at all.
It would be an issue against TP Lopez. It wouldn't be an issue against Ryan Garcia. He's not class as Garcia.
If he was from another state,
guys, Ryan Garcia is still a supreme athlete. That matters. Not being an athlete hurts you in athletic competition, guys.
Nah. If this guy was from another state, they wouldn't give 2 fucks about this guy, right?
No, he wouldn't give 2 fucks about Hector Tanajera.
It's
only him. I've only heard him mention Hector Tanajera's name. No one else has mentioned him in the entire boxing world except for Gary.
I'm the only one who's glad it's been said, so I can understand how to say his name. Because I think I've seen it written.
Yeah, that does help. Thank you. We got the word down on point now. Anyways, Gary, back to you. Ryan Garcia defeats Hector Tanajera. What's up?
Okay, Prograis and Taylor.
Yep.
That's official. Names on the dotted line.
No.
Escrow, money in escrow, the whole 9 yards. You're ready to?
No, but it's close.
We're ready.
No, but it's close.
Okay.
I'll put it this way. Chisora and Parker is firmly official. Because
They did a face-off though.
Yeah, but
Taylor Prograis official.
Is it official?
Yeah, it was announced in the ring.
In the ring?
Yeah, they had Josh Taylor in the ring.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. No, it's official. That's right. I forgot. That's right.
Eddie Hearn's done a post. He'd done I don't know why, but the poster had the 28th, and everyone went, "Wait, 28th? That's fucking Monday." And then he went, "Oh."
Yeah, so it's official, Gary. My bad. I apologize.
All right.
Super necessary.
Cool. Well, that's good news. I wanted to, start a GoFundMe page to make that fight happen. So I'm really into that fight. Next, Tank's fighting Gamboa next.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story. That's what's happening, right? He used to fight 126 pounders at 130. Now he's fighting 126 pounders at 135.
Well, to be fair, I mean Gamboa is Crawford's second biggest win, and that was a lightweight fight. So
you're right.
I mean,
you're right.
If we're gonna be like, oh, Gamboa's 126 pounder only, then man, you want to talk about Terrence Crawford now? Because that's a different conversation. We can talk about him.
No.
Okay.
I was just. I know Fu hates Tank, so I was just getting in on the Tank hate.
I do not hate Tank. You guys are silly.
You're a Loma fan. You have to hate Tank.
I don't hate Tank.
That's how
it's
it
like
works.
the Beatles and the Rolling Stone argument. You can like both.
No, you actually cannot like both. I like the Rolling Stones. Beatles are kind of just above mediocre.
You can like both.
Who likes both? Like I like the Rolling Stones. I think the Beatles are the most overrated pop band ever.
Dude, I can't believe me and Gary are on the same wavelength here.
4 Beatles songs.
Yo, Gary, thank you.
People who say the Beatles are overrated have heard 4 songs.
That's the problem. That was Gary's smartest point he's ever made on the show, is that the Beatles are overrated. Thank you, Gary.
No.
Thank you.
Gary does one of these
you
every
radio personalities think you want smoke?
One.
Yes.
Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes, fuck the Terry Flanagan pick. That was amazing right there.
I like Loma and Tank. I just think that a lot of these guys, I was saying it about Devin Haney. When Devin Haney comes out and says, oh, I could 100% beat Lomachenko, it's like, dude, you haven't fought anyone close to that level of competition. So you can't come out and say, because Campbell won 2 to 3 rounds, I for sure would beat this guy when I've never even fought anyone as good as Luke Campbell. These guys just run their mouth. It's a matter of, you look good. Your skill set looks great, but get in the ring with someone who really pushes you. Then start talking shit about someone who fights only top competition every fucking time they get in the ring.
Not every time, but almost every time.
Almost every time.
Yeah. Can't say every time. That's good.
3 fights. Let me say 3 fights he hasn't been in there. Maybe 4 out of 15 with top level competition. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But Gervonta Davis beat Jose Pedraza much better than Lomachenko did.
God.
So that automatically means that Gervonta Davis is better. That's just how it works.
He's tougher. His muscles are bigger.
It's just facts.
He
he has better tattoos as well.
With Devin Haney, him saying he can beat Loma, point blank, period, I believe is his words. I mean, he did beat Antonio Moran and Mason Menard, so obviously he can beat Loma, point blank, period.
Of course, that's how it works.
I mean,
what's he meant to tweet, Gary?
Yo, but hold on. Hey, guys, we joke about that, but Anthony Yard literally didn't spar, didn't fight a single top 50 fighter in the division, and almost beat Kovalev. So, some guys are that good. That does happen occasionally. I don't know if Haney and who else we're talking about? Gervonta are that good to just come up and just beat Loma, but I mean it's not far fetched as what Anthony Yard just did. To be honest, we've seen crazier things. We have.
What's he supposed to tweet? Eddie Hearn, please don't put me in with Loma, even if I win the mandatory spot.
He's the Matrix. I'm scared. Please don't.
He could tweet nothing.
No, what?
He wasn't.
No. He can't tweet nothing.
This guy, point blank. Period.
No, he can't do that. It's the money fight in his division. He has to tweet. As a self-promoter, you have to do that.
Sure, no one's going to take you serious, though, right? You say ridiculous things like name redacted on the Name Redacted show, people just stop taking you serious. So tweet whatever you want. But there's no one on planet Earth that thinks Devin Haney can beat Lomachenko. And I'm
there
Lomachenko's
are.
biggest hater. I don't think Devin
There are people that think Haney can beat Lomachenko. Trust me, there are.
There are people who now think Lomachenko's dog shit
Can I
because
amend that
he
statement?
lost 2 to 3 rounds against Campbell.
No, it's 5 rounds for Rob's opinion.
I had it 7-5 also. I had 115, 112.
Campbell's almost Rob.
For Loma.
Yeah.
Did you rewatch it? I'm just curious.
No, I hadn't rewatched it. I was just scoring it live. I've only watched it once.
Yeah. Because let's not forget, Gary, there's people that thought Terry Flanagan was going to beat Regis Prograis.
No one thought that. Don't be ridiculous. That's that's silly if anyone said that. Who would say something like that? Tank Davis, and I know there's a lot of people right now who are down on Loma or think he's overrated. First, I want to say 2 things. It wasn't that long ago that Dan Merrifield and other people were saying that Loma at 130, at 135 could beat Floyd Mayweather. I think we can put that to rest now.
That's not even that's not a question. Mayweather would work his ass.
I don't know why that was ever a conversation.
But Tank is not the guy to solve the matrix, right? Like, in order to beat Loma, you have to do 2 things. You have to be able to jab with him from the outside, and you have to make him go backwards. Tank can't jab with him, so he's going to lose, right? He's going to get outboxed. Maybe he can make him go backwards at points, but he's not going to be able to get – he's short-armed too, right? So he's not going to be able to out-jab him. So he's not going to be able to beat Loma. And I like Tank, but I'm just saying, stylistically, he's not the one that solves the matrix.
I don't know if you can say that Loma has longer reach. Loma has pretty short arms as well. I'd probably have to pull that up. They probably have actually similar dimensions if you think about it. But I will say this. I don't think the jab is as important as you think as it is against Loma. First off, it's incredibly hard to land a jab against Loma. Look at what Luke Campbell did last night. And I know you gave him more rounds, but when you go back and watch the fight, you're going to see how ineffective his jab was in the fight because he couldn't land it. You know, he couldn't land it at all. Loma was ducking in and out and under it. It didn't matter. And if you go back and watch the Salido fight, Salido got in range not through the jab or double jabbing. He just sort of bullied his way in and would clinch up and then throw off the clinch a lot. That's what he would do. So I think the path to victory for Loma, it has actually nothing to do with the jab because you can't land the jab on him. His head movement is too good. He blocks the jab with his guard too well. You have to do something else. The jab cannot be what you rely on, in my opinion.
Also, let's be real. Nobody's going to get away with what Salido got away with against Loma these days. Like, that was his second fight.
Hit him well 50 times, yeah. You're right. Salido, fought that fight. And it was, a different Loma. Loma had one pro fight at that point. It was his second fight. So,
not now the WBC are involved, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
no contest sort of reversals.
What happened to your boy Charlie Edwards? What happened, Rob?
Didn't you watch it?
I did.
Then
he was about to get knocked out before, and the punch was incredibly dirty and uncalled for. So the decision was right, but he looked
before
good to
that,
you?
yeah.
You thought Edwards was faring well?
I felt that this was the potential likely upset of the card, to be honest. This guy destroyed Andrew Selby, right?
Yeah. Knocked out Selby in like 3 or 4 rounds too.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew Selby was, a really, really good fighter. A guy that was at the world level at like under 12 or like 15 fights already. The guy was much better than his brother in a way. This guy was just that good. He's just one of those guys that came out of nowhere that actually is that talented. Rob's sort of assessment of the Andrew Selby fight and how this could have been the upside of the card is right. But to your point, Gary, about how good Edwards looked, he looked like trash. He looked outgunned completely in this fight.
He also looks like a guy who's starting to believe like the hype when like he was like this real, like you saw him before he won the belt and he was like this really like nice guy. And now he's like,
now he thinks he's slim fucking shady. What the hell?
What was that?
And I don't think realistically that he's I think he's a good boxer. I don't know that he's talented enough to start believing in his own hype. He's really got to be like almost the underdog in his own mind at all times.
Especially in that division. Kozai Tanaka, Artem Dalikin. Who else is the other champion? Who am I forgetting? But that division has some really talented names. Like that. Edwards.
Mythalane? Is it Mythalane?
Oh, yeah, Mythalane. Yeah, like that division's stacked at the top. Like, it's a tough division. So Edwards' placement in it might have been a little bit overhyped in a way, even by people like me, for example.
Yeah, to win the title like he did was, what was it, Rosales? Christopher Rosales?
Yeah, that was a great performance.
So,
people like
I don't necessarily believe he started leaving around. A lot of people commenting he looked shit on the scale, and he did look quite drawn on the scale. But I don't know. But yeah, this guy, I did wonder if this was a potential upset in the making, and it showed when he decided to set about Charlie Edwards. Holy shit! But he just can't wait till a guy has been on the floor a couple of seconds and then just try and blast his ribcage to pieces.
Why not? They allow in the UFC. Pansies.
Well, that's why I don't watch it. It's just too savage.
Too savage. Gary, what else, man?
Erislandy Lara.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, thanks for calling in. I saw your comment in the chat. No need to go any further.
No reason. You guys don't see any reason to think that he's back based off of that.
Why?
I know he beat Canelo's. Well, now he's beaten both Alvarez's. I mean, he beat his brother. He beat Canelo more convincingly than he beat Ramon. But he's beaten both of them now.
Except.
Wait, when you get a second round stoppage, how is that more convincing than a
how's that
controversial decision?
No, how's that less convincing? Yeah,
less convincing. Yeah, exactly.
Because he won every minute and every round against Canelo.
Okay, Gary, I know that you actually scored that fight for Canelo, so we don't need to go down this troll.
I scored the fight for Lara like 9-3. I thought it wasn't even close.
No.
No, I absolutely did. The Lara Canelo fight, I absolutely scored that for Lara. I think it's one of the worst decisions, besides Lara Paul Williams, I've ever seen. No, I absolutely did not score that fight for Canelo. I scored both.
Oh, God.
I didn't know that Gary was such a big Lara fan.
No. Lara's one of my favorite fighters, like ever.
No, for what?
For what? Oh God!
You know, I don't know Gary because I really think Lara is super talented too.
Use your
but
common sense.
Is he gonna? I mean, it's Ramon Alvarez, man. I'm not claiming
the dude missed weight by like 5 pounds, man. Yeah. He's a trash boxer. Has never done anything in his professional career. Never beaten anyone at the world level. This is nothing, man.
Margarito.
Yo, he beat Margarito off of what, a 3-year layoff, and Margarito was a cyclops, bro. He had one eye.
I see you'll beat Margarito, and I raise you lost to Brandon Rios.
Like, no, like.
Did he lose to Margarito? He beat Margarito.
He lost to Brandon Rios, though, man. That's more that's more of an indictment. Come on, man. No, like, look, Lara is still a talented guy in the division. Obviously, he's still a top 5, top 10 guy in the division, but I think he loses to Jarrett Hurd. I think he loses to J-Rock. I think he probably loses to Jamel Charlo. And probably lose at this point to Tony Harrison as well.
I wanted to go that path. Is there a path back to a belt? That's what I wanted to do.
No.
He won one. What are you talking about?
If he can make it past Humberto Soto, he'll be good.
No, real talk. I wanted to do this, right? Because Lara is like I felt he's got real bad luck with the Canelo decision, and especially the Paul Williams decision.
I mean, good luck, but okay.
Like if he got both those decisions, which he deserved against Paul Williams and Canelo, you look at his career much differently than you look at it now. Is there a path? And I don't mean the regular, but I mean a real world title. Is there a path for him back to a world title? I mean, if he fought Castano again in a rematch, do you think he could beat Castano?
Yeah, but Castano doesn't have a belt, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. If he fought Hurd in a rematch, a lot of people, including myself, thought he won that fight. That fight was real close. Could he beat Hurd in a rematch?
Look, this is the only guy you can beat with the belt. It's Munguia.
That
is the only guy you can beat with the belt. Tony Harrison, Jamel Charlo, Hurd, and Williams all beat him.
He hasn't got a belt. He hasn't got a belt.
Those top 4 guys beat him. I think those are clearly the top 4 guys in the division. Lara at 5. Give Munguia the 6th spot, even though he doesn't deserve it.
Munguia hasn't got a belt.
He doesn't deserve it.
What do you mean? Doesn't
would beat that.
No.
Oh, that's right. It's PBC. He doesn't have a belt. That's right.
Yeah, they just showed his picture, but he didn't have a belt. They just said, "Give me Munguia." The others were all.
Wait, is it PBC or Fox? Hold on. Is it Fox or a PBC decision? It's a Fox decision, right? Because Showtime's still. I think it's a Fox decision.
When did you last, since the whole WBO thing, when have you seen a...
Well, Mark Ortega said that. And Mark Ortega is one of the head guys at Fox, right? He's one of the chief producers or editors there.
I know, but since the whole not recognizing the WBO thing, when have Showtime done a card? We don't know.
They haven't done a card. No, you're right. Good point about that. But I think it's more of a Fox decision. But beside the point, they don't recognize the WBO belt, allegedly. But they recognize this WBA regular belt. So...
Quick question: Is Showtime? And I'm not trying to find. Is Showtime done with boxing? Because I was trying to cancel DirecTV today, and they were like, "Well, we can lower your bill." I just wanted to get the NFL package again for free, and they asked me if I still watch Showtime. If Showtime is done with boxing, then I don't need Showtime anymore. Are they done? Is Showtime out of boxing?
The only card on the schedule this year is Shields versus whatever her name is. And at this point in time, we do not know if Wilder Ortiz 2 is going to be a Showtime pay-per-view.
You find out next week.
And you're right, it's pay-per-view. So it doesn't even matter if it's Showtime. You don't need Showtime to watch a Showtime pay-per-view. So...
Yeah, I'll just go ahead. I canceled HBO. I can just go ahead and cancel Showtime.
If you want to save some money this year, there's only one card in October, and that's a Shields card, which you can probably find a good, decent stream of because no one's going to care about stopping piracy for that card. And enjoy watching Clarissa Shields fight. And other than that, you're good.
Or Mixed Combat Radio live fight chat, absolutely free.
That's true, but you don't get the fight. So that's why I said it. So watch the fight for free on like a stream somewhere.
I'm trying to promote.
I understand what you did, and I shouldn't have undersold it. I'm sorry. I undercut your authority. My apologies.
Hit that thumbs down, fuck.
But Gary, back to you. Yeah, cancel Showtime. That's fine. There's nothing right now on the schedule.
I mean, I don't see any reason to keep it. Yeah. Okay. That's all I got.
All right, peace, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you very much for not mentioning Brandon Figueroa.
Thanks, Gary.
And we talked about Shakur Stevenson a lot.
Yeah.
Thank God. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. You can find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on all these topics. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Rob.
UK Rob, MCR. Instagram and Twitter. Thanks everybody for in the chat. Luke Campbell, great job, but just wasn't good enough. But hell of an effort. I think his stock's risen in a lot of people's eyes because for many this was you'll get stopped in 3, 4, or 5 or whatever, and gutsy effort and a real good display. But hand it over to your new face over there, Fugati. And I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, the new guy on the show.
Find me at UK Fugati. No, I'm just playing. Fugati MCR on all platforms. And good show, guys.
Peace.
You disrespect boxing, you piece of shit?
I am Phil. I'm very Phil.
It's bullshit. Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Stay off the weed.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?